Rabbi Say, we will learn another beautiful piece of Zera Shimshon, and the Heimtike Parsha, this week's Parsha, Parsha Tetzaveh, as a preparation for the Shabbos Zohar this week, and of course the great beautiful Yom Tif of Purim that's Ba'aleinu L'Taiva. And we're going to learn a big Yesod, and not from what's written in the Parsha, but we're going to learn the Yesod from what is not written in the Parsha. And for this we begin from the words of the Baal HaTurim in the beginning of the Parsha, where the Baal HaTurim brings us a very interesting point. He brings up a very interesting point, and he mentions that Lo Yizkir Moshe B'Zeh Seder. He starts off the Parsha, it says Ve'ato Tetzaveh B'nei Yisrael. It does not say Vayedaber Hashem El Moshe Leimor Tzaves B'nei Yisrael, like it would say many places. And there's a special reason that Moshe Rabbeinu's name should not be mentioned in this Parsha. Mashenkin B'chol HaChumash Shemishah Shenoyad Moshe, from the time that Moshe was born, Ain't Seder Shloshka, but there's no Parsha which Moshe Rabbeinu is not mentioned in it. And it says about Turim, a beautiful pshat, and it's based on a Zohar Kodesh, which we're going to quote in a few moments. And the reason is because he said, Mecheni Noam Sifrecha Asher Koshavta. When the Jewish people sinned with the chet of the Egel, of the golden calf, Moshe Rabbeinu heard from Hashem that he wants to destroy the Jewish people, and Moshe Rabbeinu was Moshe Nefesh, gave himself over for Klal Yisrael, and he said, if you are going to destroy them, erase me from the Sefer that you've written, which is mamish, a tremendous sacrifice, a spiritual sacrifice of Moshe Rabbeinu, the man Klal Yisrael, and I got a Kodesh Baruch Hu to forgive Klal Yisrael and continue keeping them living and Baruch Hashem till today. But since Moshe Rabbeinu had mentioned this, even though he only said it because of a Tanai, that Hashem will not forgive Klal Yisrael, Kil Chacham Afilu Tanai Bo, the klal of a Chacham, even on a Tanai, is Miskayim, it gets fulfilled, V'niskayim Bezeh, and it's Miskayim with that is not mentioned in Parshas Tetzaveh. And we have over here the Zohar Kodesh in Pinchas Reish Mem Vav Amud Aleph, that's the page, and it brings over there word for word the same Yesod. The man lon Rav mi Moshe, would we have a greater than Moshe, the Amar, who says, and if you don't forgive Klal Yisrael, erase me from your sefer that you've written. The Amar L'Tzorach, and he said it for a great need. The Afa Pisha Kodesh Baruch Hu Avid Reusa, even though Kodesh Baruch Hu did do what he wanted, his will. Im Kol Do Lo Yishtaziv Me Oinsho, still he was not saved from Einish. And we call it a shtickle Einish. The Ha'itma, that's what's being said. The Lo Idkar, that is not mentioned. The Parshas Ve'ato Tetzaveh Ve'ismachi Nitamon, is not mentioned in the Parsha of Ato Tetzaveh, and he's erased from there. So Rabbi Say, we have a myriadic point over here. We see what's not written in the Parsha, and we see this tremendous mysterious nefesh of Moshe Rabbeinu, who doesn't think about himself and only thinks about Klal Yisrael. And that's why he's not mentioned in this week's Parsha. Rabbi Say, before we go any further, we have to point out a very important point, and that is that this Nekuda is really a Nekuda of a Yid. It's a Nekuda of thinking about others, not caring about ourselves only, but mainly only others. And it has to do with what Reb Chaim Volozhin would always say, that a person was created in order to help out others. He's not created for himself. He's not created for himself, but to help others. And this is what Moshe Rabbeinu was teaching us, and this really is against the power of Amalek, because Amalek is Gematria Rum, that's 240. Rum is Gaiva. Gaiva is egoism and thinking only about himself. And this is what Mechias Amalek is about, and that's Shabbos Zohar. So Tetzaveh is very, very beautifully connected to as a preparation to Shabbos Zohar, to be moiche, to erase the inyan of Amalek, and that's where you come to Purim, where you Ramish do it, and especially it's a day where we think about others so much. When we do Mishloach Manos Ishta Ve'eyu, we send it to our friends, and of course, Matanas Le'Avyonim, where we're giving gifts to the poor, to the poor, we're giving a lot of charity to the poor, to those that are very destitute, and this is Mamish Gevaldik. This is exactly the message. So Rabbi Say, it's beautiful how this connects to the Indian of Zohar and Purim. But Rabbi says there's a big question over here, and the question is of course, since first we have to explain one nekuda before we get to the question, and that is, okay, so Moshe Rabbeinu was Moshe Nefesh, and he has to be erased from the Sefer. But he wasn't erased from the entire Sefer, only from one parsha. But the insight, of course, is that since the Torah is one, so therefore if Moshe Rabbeinu is erased from a full parsha, it's like being erased in a gevissa, in a certain way from the entire Torah. It's a certain level of being erased. And it's a big mysterious nefesh. But why Dafke? This is a great question. From all parshas in the world, why Dafke Parshas Tetzaveh? And there we have on this a very beautiful remez that is said by the Mechutin of the Vilna Gaon. And it's brought from Reb Noach Mindes, that's his name. He had a Sefer Niflois Chadoshes, and he says Moshe Rabbeinu was meramis to Tetzaveh in him by his words himself. When he says Mecheni no misifracho asher kosavto, he didn't say misifracho sher kosavto. The word asher is b'diyuk b'gematria Tetzaveh. It fits beautifully into the inyan of Tetzaveh. Okay, that's a beautiful remez. However, the Vilna Gaon says a very, very profound word, and that is why Dafke Tetzaveh. It has to hint to the fact that if you're reaching the name of Moshe Rabbeinu, it's like a inyan of Moshe is mistalik min ha'olam. He's going away from the world in a way, and this is the exact opportune moment where we should mention that and kill not mention Moshe Rabbeinu, because usually Parshas Tetzaveh is going to be in together with Zayin Adar. Zayin Adar, like this week, is Zayin Adar is the day of the Yortzeit of Moshe Rabbeinu, the Istalkus of Moshe Rabbeinu, and therefore it fits very well the fact that he's not mentioned in the time when he was Mistalik Min Ha'olam. And the famous piece of the Pinchas Karitzer and Imei Pinchas, who says that from here you could prove that what would be, you have the big shaila, in a Shana Me'uberes, you have two Zayin Adars. When are we mekayim the tinus of Zayin Adar of Moshe Rabbeinu? In the first Adar or the second? And it comes out over here, there's an Inyan Dafke, the Zayin Adar should be, and the Inyan of the, mentioning the Inyan of Zayin Adar of Moshe Rabbeinu should be Dafke mentioned Adar Rishon, because then in the Shana Muberes, Parshas Tetzaveh will only be Chal in Adar Harishon and not Adar Hashem. Okay, so this we had all the way till comes the Zera Shimshon. The Zera Shimshon is a very, very interesting word. Why exactly in Parshas Tetzaveh is the time when Moshe Rabbeinu should not be mentioned because of him saying V'im'ayin mecheni no. In order to explain that, we have to go back all the way to the beginning of Parshas Shmos, the middle, where we find HaKadosh Baruch Hu arguing with Moshe Rabbeinu. He wants to send him to go to take the Jews out of Mitzrayim to redeem them. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, no, he doesn't want to go. And this is very interesting, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in a way, gets a certain Kpeda on Moshe Rabbeinu. He had a certain anger, and therefore he says to him that I thought that you would be the Kohen and Aaron would be the Levi. Now it's going to be the opposite. So it says in the Gemara, in Zvachim Kuf Beis Amud Aleph. So Rabbi said, before we even go further, what's pshat in that? Why Dafke is it Mido Kneged Mido? He doesn't want to go, so therefore he won't be a Kohen. Such as Zera Shimshon, beautiful Ois Gimel over here in the Parsha. He says it's understood up in the Gemara in the Dorim that Lamed Helmet Beis, the Gemara declares, has a query. Do we say Kohanim are Shluchim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu or Shluchim of Klal Yisrael? The Nafkemine is by somebody that is a Mudar Hano. He's not allowed to have pleasure, direct pleasure from, let's say from a Kohen. And can that Kohen be Makriv for him, his Korban? Because if you say it's Shluchim Rachmana, so he's not directly doing it for him, it's Memele, he's just happens to be the Korban was Mukrav. But if it's Shluchim Didan, his mom is doing it for this Yid, in that case, so it will be Osir by Mudar Hano. Now in the Gemara in the Dorim, it doesn't say a clear hachlata. What is what are we deciding with a certainty? However, in fact, the Kiddushin, the first parak of Kiddushin, Chav Gimel on the base, there we come out with Maskana, the Kahanim Shluchim the Rachmana Ninu, the Iker the Shluchim of Rabbeinu Shalom. And so passes the Rambam in Hilchos Nedarim Perek Vav Halacha. Hey, so it comes out now, Gevaldik, it's Mida Kneged Mida. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to go B'shlichusay Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu to redeem Klal Yisrael for whatever reason. We're going to get in a second to it. And that's why Kodesh Baruch Hu decided he doesn't want him to be a shaliach of Hashem for Klal Yisrael in Avodas HaKehuna, which is also Shluchei de Rachmana. Moshe doesn't want shlichus. He will not have the mishpacha that is doing the shlichus of the Rabbeinu Shalom Avodas Kehuna. But now we have to understand why Moshe Rabbeinu really didn't want to go and redeem Klal Yisrael. So it's in the first Medrash in Shmos Rabbah, Parsha Gimel, Ois Daled, and it says in the pasuk, "Mi anoichi ki elecha Paroi." Who am I that I should go to Paroi? And Moshe Rabbeinu is timing, Rabbeinu Shalom. When Yaakov comes down from Mitzrayim, you told him, "Anoichi alcha gam oloi." I will take him out. This is I. Where's the I? It's me. It's not you. Mi anoichi. How am I the anoichi? So there's a famous Piskarav that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, "You'll be shechina medaberes mitech geroincha." That I'll be speaking through your mouth, and in that case it's like me. But after all, Moshe Rabbeinu had this taina, and the Rabbeinu Shalom Lamaisi was not maskim, and the Rabbeinu Shalom says that I'll be mekayim this anoichi, you know when? When we're going to come to the final gula, and it'll be anoichi alcha gam Allah, it's many aliyahs, it's talking about after all the goliaths, it's going to be the final gula, then it's going to be, I will do it, but not now. And the reason being, says our Kodesh Baruch Hu, is like this, because the Kodesh Baruch Hu knew that Klal Yisrael will be sinning. And if Lu Yitzuyer, he would be the one that's Goyel, so it's Moshe Rabbeinu, why did he want the Dafka Kodesh Baruch Hu should be Nekayim, this Anoichi now? Because he knew one thing, that another Medrash says, it's a Mechilte, Rabbi Yishmael, and Yalkut Shemaini, that it comes, that if the first Geula is before I did Basar Vadam, that afterwards this could be a shibud. However, Gula Achrayna, which is only B'yad HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there is no shibud afterwards. And Moshe Rabbeinu wanted there should be no shibud. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I know, but since Klal Yisrael are going to sin, and then there's going to have to be a shibud, because if there's not going to be a shibud, there will be Rahman al-Litzlan have to fall into Gehenna. And so I already made a style with Avram Avinu, and in Medrash Bereshis Rabbah, Mem Dalet Chaf Aleph. There it says that Avram had a choice, Gehenna or Shibud Malchus, and he said better Shibud Malchus. So therefore, Kodesh Baruch Hu decided that it must be that Moshe should go, and I'm not doing it, and I'll be Mekayim and only Lasid Lavai, and that's the story, and we're waiting for the Geula Rabbi side. So now comes very well the kesher between this Im Ayin Mecheni No Misifracha Shakotavta, the einish on that, or the kiyum of that, to what it says in Dafke in this week's Parsha and Parsha Tetzaveh. It says the Zera Shimshon, he says, what happens in this week's Parsha? Aaron becomes the Kohen, Aaron Achicha, Mitach B'nei Yisrael. He's going to be the Kohen, not you, Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? The reason is because Moshe didn't want to go with the Shlichus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? But what happened because of that? He's not a Shliach to be Shluchei de Rachmana for Korbanos. But why would Moshe not want to go? Because he wanted HaKadosh Baruch Hu to do it. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu not want to do it? Because Moshe Rabbeinu wanted HaKadosh Baruch Hu to do it in order that Klal Yisrael should not have a shibud. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew the Golei Lefanav Shasidin Lachtoi. And when Klal Yisrael was sinning, what happened? Moshe Rabbeinu, by the Egel says, Imayin Mechenino. So it comes out that the union of choosing Aaron to Kahuna has to do with Klal Yisrael sinning, which when then Moshe Rabbeinu says, Imayin Mechenino. So it's very, very, very sugepas, and it fits very well in the Dafke. This is the parsha of not where we're going to mekayim the inyan of an ayin mechenina misifracha shekosavto. And as we started, the idea over here is a tremendous yisoid of mysterious nefesh and caring about others, which is the power against the koyach of Amalek and the koyach of Ra in the world, and that's what we have to really, really live in Purim, the inyan of caring for others, which is Mishlach Manes Ishlevi Eyu, Umatones Lev Yoinim, so the Rebbeinu Shalom should help, we should all be mischazik in this inyan, and be doig for others, and then see in b'mishpati pada v'shaver b'tzedakah, Klal Yisrael will be redeemed, b'schus the tzedakah, b'schus the chesed they do, and caring for others. And this way will be Miskayim, the V'anoichi Alcha Gam Oloi, the final Geula, which will be Idea Kodesh Baruch Hu Be'atzmoi, with no shibud afterwards, just lichtigkeit, only good, and only Gishmak. B'meira B'yameinu, Amen, Kain Yehi Ratzayim. Good Shabbos to everyone. Shabbos Zochar Sameach and B'miyuchid Chaga Purim Afreiliche Purim. Always all time. Everyone should be blessed. Have a great time.